And probably one of our most effective tips for managing pain in the short term is actually using temperature. Now, there's a lot of information and perhaps misinformation about when to deploy hot and when to deploy cold and which one is better. And the reality of the situation is both are going to be effective at producing a reduction in pain. And the reason for that is that our threat response, the reason why we have pain in the first place, is that our nervous system is receiving information, our brain is receiving information from a body part saying that there's a threat, and that threat ascends on a particular nerve called the spinothalamic nerve. And in just the same way as years ago, if I had a painful area, my mum or my dad might say to rub it better, the reason why rubbing it better actually helps is because rubbing also ascends on the same nerve, the spinothalamic nerve, as the sensation of threat. And so if I rub it, I'm overloading the bandwidth of that nerve with the sensation of rubbing, so I actually can transmit less threat information, so consequently I experience less pain. So our mums and our dads were right. If we rub it better, we're going to temporarily experience less pain because we've overloaded the bandwidth of the nerve's capacity to transmit threatening information. And exactly the same is true with temperature. It doesn't matter whether it's hot, it doesn't matter whether it's cold. If you apply temperature to a particular area, you're going to overload the bandwidth, the nerve carrying capacity of the nerve for temperature, and actually experience less pain. So hot or cold, doesn't matter, is going to be equally effective in that sense. However, there's a little bit more to be said about hot and cold. So in a very general sense, heat is much, much better at actually allowing healing to occur. And the reason why it allows healing to occur is because it's a vasodilator. It opens up the blood vessels, allows much more blood to flow to the site of the injury, and actually allows things to heal a lot more quickly. Cold, on the other hand, is a vasoconstrictor and actually will cause a restriction of the amount of blood flow to the area, which actually incidentally means that the inflammatory mediators, these little text messages that send information up to the brain, actually have less ability to do that, and actually therefore reduce the amount of pain that you experience. But in a very general sense, in the clinic, we advocate the use of heat, because we want to open up the blood vessels rather than cold. So if you're going to put something on the site of the injury, we would advocate the use of heat, not cold. Having said that, if you want to have a hot bath, then that's going to have a very different effect in the nervous system to a cold bath. And we do like to have an ice bath or a cold bath. Now, it's not going to specifically help with the pain, but it's going to specifically help with more focus, more concentration, and a general sense of well-being. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better about your state of health. You're going to feel a lot better about your the degree of pain you're in, and you're going to feel a lot better about your capacity for recovery. And the reason for that, and I find this very interesting, is that the area of the brain called the nucleus accumbens, which actually produces a neurotransmitter in the presence of cold, actually makes you focus a lot more. It makes you focus and makes you concentrate. And the reason for that is, if you think in terms of evolution, if I'm in a really cold environment, I've just fallen in a frozen lake, I need to really concentrate. I need to have all my faculties around me in order that I actually can problem solve my environment and get out of the frozen lake. And what's very, very interesting is in pharmacology, in the pharmaceutical companies, what they've managed to do is synthesize this neurotransmitter produced by the nuclear accumbens to help people with ADD and ADHD in order to help them concentrate and focus a lot more. So if it's focus, if it's well-being, if it's a sense of contentment that you're after, you really need to get into a hot bath. But if it's local pain relief you're after, then we want to recommend heat, not cold. But here's the rub, pardon the pun. Both hot and cold is a temporary neurodistraction, and it does not last. So as a strategy to help temporarily increase cognition, increase concentration, increase motivation as a temporary strategy to reduce the experience of pain, then heat or cold temperature is fantastic. But remember, it is only temporary, but that you shouldn't be worried by that, because you can deploy it as many times as you need to and it will always work for you.